Zach.
So, Zach, you've been following Jimmer. Good to see you, big man.
Yeah, good to see
you. What do you think of, if it happens, if he accepts, what do you think about Jimmer Fredette making a decision to go play in China?
I love it. And this is something that I heard rumblings from a couple of his close friends in the last couple months. He didn't play in the basketball tournament because that this was realistic and because he was, still kind of affiliated with some summer leagues. But, I think it was time. I mean, if you look at the two different options, Jimmer's, it's established that he's not going to be anytime soon an NBA starter. So he would have to come off the bench and be a team's, seventh, eighth, ninth guy. And, what would you rather do? Forget perception. This is this guy's life. So what would you rather do? Be an eighth guy on an NBA bench when in your own mind's eye you feel like you should have the ball in your hands? Or go be a basketball god in China, which is, what he's going to become. I'm almost sure of it. I think it's a perfect fit. That league over there, the Chinese Basketball Association, the CBA, it's the best basketball league in Asia. They get paid real money, and they get real Americans to go play there. And it's going to be fun because every American in that league, that league's, it's tricky. Only 2 Americans per team. That's the league's rule. So he's going to be on the team with A.J. Price, if you remember, from Amityville, who
UConn
and played at UConn, was a big scorer. He averages 30 a game over there. They rely on the Americans to do the bulk of the scoring. And when I say the bulk, like 60% of their scoring. That's just the way that it is over there. They got 11 players in that league this past season, average 30 or more. It's a scoring league. They put up big numbers. There's a ton of three-pointers taken, more than any other league internationally. The CBA, they take the most number of threes. That is going to be just picture perfect for Jimmer, who's going to have the ball in his hands. I think it's going to be a great fit.
And a lot of high-level Americans have played there. I mean, you wrote the blog yesterday, 1045theteam.com, and Facebook at 1045theteam. You wrote it yesterday. I mean, Gilbert Arenas has played there. J.R. Smith has played there. Is this the league Brandon Jennings played in before he?
It wasn't not Brandon Jennings. Emmanuel Mudiay when he foregoed his year at SMU when he decided to go overseas before he got drafted 7th overall by Denver last year. He went and played in the CBA. You said it. Tracy McGrady. Gilbert Arenas actually played for the Shanghai Sharks. J.R. Smith, and when the lockout happened, Kenyon Martin, Wilson Chandler, all those guys went to the CBA because there's real money to be made. A lot of times, guys can make a bunch of money overseas, but there's a couple leagues that these owners will say, we'll give you $2 million just for the season. And the CBA season is actually shorter than most. It ends in the spring, where a lot of guys will have to play into March or April. The CBA season, a lot of the teams are done in February, and if you make it to the finals, you play into March. But a lot of these guys will play out their season, make $1.5 million, or probably in Jimmer's case, I wouldn't be surprised if he signed for between $2 and $3 million because he's such a draw and a name recognition. I wouldn't be surprised if he signed for $2.5 million, and then if he plays great, he'll come back in February and still have the opportunity, if he so chooses, to hop on with an NBA team.
Yeah, this is by no means giving up on him playing in the NBA. This is just going in maybe a little different direction to get another opportunity to play in the NBA. Zach By is with us. Brady Farkas with us. It's Big Board Sports on 104.5 The Team. Here's the question I have. He is such a darn good shooter. Mm-hmm. Incredible. Mm-hmm. Why has he not been able to find a spot in the NBA, and is it because of his lack of defensive ability?
Well, I think that's a part of it, but I think there's a larger stigma with Jimmer because it's almost like the Tebow effect. It almost became such a lightning rod that if he doesn't start for you, and here's a perfect example. When he got called up for the Knicks, the crowd is chanting his name, and he is literally the last guy on the bench, and the only thing that anyone can focus on is Jimmer Fredette.
And it's like the coach, hey, coach, put Jimmer in. You listen to all these fans, they want you to put him in the game.
Right. So it's like one of these things where, do you where does, in these coaches and these GMs' minds, where does the production on the court that's measurable get outweighed by everything, all the noise around the situation? And in a sense, his Jimmer mania, I think, has almost cost him a little bit at the next level because people can't separate the two. You know what I mean? They want Jimmer at BYU to be Jimmer in the league. Mark my words. There's going to be a night this spring where SportsCenter knows they're going to get views and clicks out of this thing. They're going to show a Jimmer highlight when he goes for 58 because guys in that league, they score big.